Gunfights, outlaws, gunslingers. The Wild West forms a significant component of American legends. The escapades of cowboys and lawmen from the Old West constitute the substance of myths, and numerous of their demises ensued similarly imaginative methods. As for other renowned personas, their passings constituted a segment of authentic Wild West chronicles, and astoundingly modest and typical. They fell victim to the rigors of enduring years in the Old West. In this video, we will share with you the stories of how 8 historical figures from the Wild West really met their end. Number 1. Belle Starr. Belle Starr, likely more affiliated with wrongdoers than a toughened wrongdoer herself. Though she faced conviction due to horse thievery, enduring a 9-month jail term, she never received another crime verdict. Nevertheless, she encircled herself with bandits and suspicious individuals, even marrying twice, both husbands meeting their end in shootouts. Her years of mingling with sinister folks finally caught up. While journeying homeward one day, Starr took 2 bullets to her back. The identity of her assailant remains a mystery. Whispers enshrouded her passing, yet in at least one retelling, her very son Ed played a role in the occurrence. Number 2. Jesse James. Jesse James, that skilled thief, had drawn the attention of Missouri's Governor Thomas Crittenden. The governor took it upon himself to bring down the outlaw. Following a botched bank heist, Jesse and his kin, Frank, found themselves lying low. Frank, however, began to embrace an honest life, causing him to distance himself from Jesse's gang. This departure pushed Jesse to recruit fresh members, individuals whose loyalty was not yet set in stone. Bob Ford entered the scene, his brother Charlie having recently joined Jesse's gang. Upon learning of Crittenden's newly offered reward of $10,000 for Jesse James's capture, Bob convinced his sibling to turn against Jesse. The Ford brothers struck a deal with Crittenden, who pledged the cash reward and a pardon in return. Several months rolled by, and the Ford brothers took up residence in one of Jesse's abodes. During a moment of heated discomfort, Jesse shed his coat along with his revolvers. Seizing the opportunity, Bob shot Jesse in the back of the head while he stood on a chair, innocently dusting a picture. Number 3. Butch Cassidy. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid might evoke visions of a youthful Paul Newman and Robert Redford. The true Butch and Sundance Kid, however, led lives as rich in tales as their on-screen personas. Making off with an average of $35,000 per robbery, Cassidy's gang, known as the Wild Bunch, proved nearly uncatchable due to Cassidy's meticulous preparations prior to each theft. Yet, after decades of wrongdoing, Butch and the Sundance Kid opted to relinquish their pursuits and migrate to South America in the pursuit of a fresh start. They maintained a discreet presence until reportedly absconding with a payroll in Bolivia. The Bolivian cavalry encircled the residence in which the two were entrenched, and a fierce exchange of gunfire culminated in one of the men sustaining wounds. That nightfall, 2 shots resounded, and the lifeless forms of the men were retrieved, bearing gunshot injuries. The Sundance Kid, a bullet precisely between his eyes, and Cassidy, a self-inflicted wound on his temple. Nevertheless, a vigorous dispute has endured concerning whether these individuals were indeed the fabled pair. Numerous accounts placed Cassidy in the public eye for years to come. Number 4. Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid, that kid they called him, just a lad. At 18, he'd gone and done 17 killings already in his youthful days, still running free. Fast forward a couple of years, Sheriff Pat Garrett managed to nab Billy, hauling him in for trial. They found him guilty as sin, slapped him with a hanging sentence. But right before the rope-a-dance in 81, Billy slipped away, left 2 guards dead in his wake. Sheriff Garrett. He tracked Billy relentless for 3 months, till a whisper of his hideout slipped his way. With Billy out and about, Garrett sneaked into the shadowy bedroom at Maxwell Ranch in New Mexico, biding his time. When Billy stepped in, Garrett's shot rang out, sealing his fate. Just like the tales of Wild West icons afore, Billy's demise birthed wild yarns. Was it truly Billy, or some other young buck resembling the 21-year-old? Years down the line, 2 different fellas stepped up, both claiming to be Billy the Kid, yet their tales never could stand up to scrutiny. Number 5. Buffalo Bill Cody's. Buffalo Bill Cody gained widespread recognition during the late 1800s, all thanks to his renowned traveling show known as Buffalo Bill's Wild West. On the 10th of January 1917, Cody met his end due to kidney failure while paying a visit to his sister in Denver. This particular date holds significance because in Cody's most current will, he expressed his desire to be laid to rest at the peak of Lookoot Mountain in Colorado, which offered breathtaking panoramic views. However, the pathway leading up the mountain was blocked by snow, rendering it impassable during the winter month of January. In order to honor Cody's final wish, the funeral home preserved his remains in cold storage for a span of 6 months, necessitating the embalming process to be carried out on 6 distinct occasions. Throughout this duration, numerous individuals debated whether he should be interred in Cody, Wyoming, the very town he established, aligning with his previous will's instructions for his final resting place. In the end, there is widespread consensus that Cody's final resting place indeed became Lookout Mountain. Nonetheless, there exist theories suggesting that his body might have been moved to Wyoming, fueling various conspiracy speculations. Interestingly, the former location of Olinger's mortuary, where Buffalo Bill Cody's body was kept for half a year, has transformed into a dining establishment known as Linger. Number 6. Calamity Jane. Calamity Jane's moniker gives away the manner of her existence. For survival, she would occasionally garb herself as a gent, toiling for the Pony Express, and maybe engaged in the world's oldest profession. A segment of Buffalo Bill's Wild West exhibition, Jane gained renown for her adeptness with firearms while astride a steed. Accompanying her surging repute arrived a standing for relishing potent libations and revelry. Ultimately, the spirits ensnared her, and she wrestled with profound dipsomania for numerous cycles, until it culminated in her passing at 51 years of age. As per the tale, she was interred adjacent to her companion and erstwhile drinking comrade Wild Bill Hickok, joining them eternally. Hickok was rumored to possess minimal intrigue in Jane, rendering her burial a final jest enacted on behalf of the famed markswoman. Number 7. Bat Masterson. Bat Masterson spent the initial portion of his life as a gunfighter, later assuming the role of a sheriff after encountering Wyatt Earp. Earp managed to persuade Masterson that he possessed the suitable qualities to assist in taming the disorderliness of Dodge City, Kansas. Given that his 2 siblings were already engaged in upholding the law in proximity to Dodge City, Masterson concurred. His tenure as the sheriff was marked by achievements and sorrow, including the painful experience of witnessing his brother, Ed, being shot and losing his life. Upon reaching the age of 49, Masterson grew weary of the unruliness prevalent in the western frontier and nurtured a desire to establish a more tranquil existence out east with his spouse. They relocated to New York City, where Masterson found employment as a newspaper correspondent and a United States Marshal for a handful of years. In the year 1921, Masterson met his demise due to a heart attack that struck him while he was seated at his writing desk. Number 8. Annie Oakley. Annie Oakley, famed for her incredible skills with a rifle, won the hearts of young girls far and wide. Her journey led her alongside Buffalo Bill's Wild West show for an extended period. Yet, before she gained the moniker of shooting star Annie Oakley, she was Annie Mosey, a 16-year-old endowed with remarkable shooting prowess. During a visit to her sister, the local innkeeper arranged a trap shooting challenge against a seasoned display shooter, Frank Butler. The trial involved downing the highest count of birds from a set of 25. Frank managed 24 hits, but Annie struck down all 25. Frank was captivated, and the two became husband and wife shortly thereafter. They relished nearly 5 decades of companionship until Oakley's health waned and she succumbed to anemia. Though the exact cause of Butler's passing remains uncertain, his demise a mere 18 days after Oakley suggests a broken heart may have played a role. In a final embrace, the two were laid to rest side by side in the Oakley family burial ground.